Marine Le Pen is rising as Macron loses the left. Italy is turning to the right, and the Dutch stay center-right. In this video, we're going to take a look at the amazing surge going on for the nationalist-populist Marine Le Pen in France, how Italy's Matteo Salvini is already shoring up a governing right-wing coalition for their next election, and how the nationalist right made some very impressive gains in the Netherlands national elections just the other day. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. Yes, the doctor is in the house. We're here to give you each and every day conservative hope in the midst of these turbulent and trying times, helping to think better so you can feel better and provide you a patriot path to freedom. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we dive in here, let's make sure to click on that link below and head on over to my special website from my Patriot Food Supply. As we saw with the whole pandemic insanity, we cannot wait for an emergency to happen before we respond to one, and no one makes preparing for an emergency more ridiculously easy and affordable than our good friends over at my Patriot Supply. Gang, they're simply the best. Their food kits last up to 25 years in storage. They include breakfast, lunches, and dinners. And best of all, if you act now, you're going to save $50 off a full 4-week emergency food supply when you click on that link below to my special website. So do not wait. I got my food supply. Make sure you get yours. Click on that link below or go to preparewithsteve.com and save $50 off your very own 4-week emergency food supply today. All right, let's dive right in here. Look, we've got some fascinating news coming out of Europe today. Let's start with France. I mean, wow, what a difference a couple of months makes. I mean, literally just a few months back, pundits were dismissing the nationalist populist leader Marine Le Pen as a political afterthought, a has-been. I mean, there's no way she's going to beat Emmanuel Macron in their next election. I mean, that was the gist of what we were reading. Gang, look at some of these headlines just over the last couple of weeks. This is from France 24. It's over. Macron risks losing left in Le Pen battle. Here's the EU Observer. How Le Pen may beat Macron. From Bloomberg, Marine Le Pen reckons she'll be president of France next year. I mean, we can keep going. All of these reports are saying the same thing. All the polls are showing the same thing. Le Pen is rising and Macron is falling. And the key reason why Macron is falling is that while Le Pen has held on to her support from the political right, Macron has lost virtually all support from the political left. And that's the key to 2022, the year of the next French presidential election. As France 24 put it, back in 2017, French presidents served for 5 years. It was actually support from the left that propelled Macron to power. Macron ran as a populist centrist, even though he made a fortune as a globalist banker. But the left was so freaked out over Marine Le Pen and the rise of the nationalist right, the far right, that they voted for Macron, but more against Le Pen. And France 24 and a number of other outlets are reporting that Macron's governing both as a globalist on the one hand in terms of his economic policies, and on the other as a member of like the nationalist right and his crackdown on Muslim enclaves in France. Both of these things have alienated him from France's left. And so more and more representatives of the left are coming out and they're saying there is no way we're voting for Macron. Check this out from France 24. Some of Liberation's readers, Liberation's a left-wing magazine, some of Liberation's readers accuse Macron, who campaigned as a centrist, but has been accused of tacking to the right, of acting as a president of the rich, a label dating from his decision early in his presidency to cut wealth taxes. Others attacked his attempts to get the French to work longer before being eligible for a full pension, as well as his crackdown on anti-government yellow vest protests in 2018-2019, and his government's tough rhetoric on immigration and radical Islam. Left-wing voters feel hurt and humiliated. They feel they are being forced to vote for a candidate who has not respected them. Now, this is very interesting because we've been documenting Macron's lurch to the right, the nationalist populist right, over the last few months. In fact, we've got a video entitled "The Red Pilling of Emmanuel Macron." And this was in response to the murder several weeks back of 3 people at a church in the French city of Nice by an attacker who was reported to have been yelling Allah Akbar. Okay, and that triple murder came on the heels of the beheading of school teacher Samuel Paty, who was killed by an 18-year-old Muslim student who took issue with Paty showing derogatory cartoon pictures of the Prophet Muhammad as part of the lessons on the French value of free speech. Needless to say, the killing of Samuel Paty shocked the nation, and then the killing of 3 others just days later forced the Macron government to crack down against Muslim individuals and groups that have thus far failed to assimilate into French society and embrace French values. However, what pundits are observing is that this move to the right by Macron may in fact be hurting him politically. In political jargon, what Macron is doing is he's accommodating the positions of National Rally, right? The nationalist-populist party of Marine Le Pen, in that he's moving his party, En Marche, towards the position of another party so as to stem the possibility of losing votes, right? And so the conventional wisdom here is that Macron could draw some votes away from Marine Le Pen, from the nationalist-populist right coalition there. But the problem, as the EU Observer is noting, this strategy ignores something called issue ownership. It's very interesting. Issue ownership. Voters naturally associate parties with particular issues. And the problem here is that when one party like Macron's starts pushing an issue that they're not associated with, the issues themselves become more popular. And as a result, the party the issue is identified with becomes more popular as well. So the irony here is that Macron cracking down on Islam in France may in fact be campaigning on behalf of Marine Le Pen and the National Rally, who have been calling on precisely such crackdowns since their inception with Marine Le Pen's father back in the late 1960s. So the irony here is that not only is Marine Le Pen surging in the polls because of her own campaigning on issues so central to National Rally, but her polls may be bolstered precisely because her challenger is lending his full support to precisely such issues. So obviously we'll be keeping a close eye on how things develop in France over the coming months, but we're also seeing some very promising developments in Italy as well. But first, I've got a free gift for you. Make sure to click on that link below and download your very own alt-tech directory guide, which we're calling the New Conservative Survival Guide to Big Tech Censorship. It is absolutely free for you as an ebook download. Now, this is a guide that's going to give you all of the alternative social media sites that you can go to that have all your favorite independent content creators, but of course without any of the censorship that we've been exposed to by big tech. And it's also going to give you insights into what scholars are calling an emerging post-Google age. It is absolutely free as an ebook download, and it's yours simply by clicking on the link below. So do not let big tech censors get in the way of your favorite content creators. Click on that link below and enjoy your survival guide to big tech censorship today. All right, gang. So moving on over to Italy, the nationalist Lega Party leader, Matteo Salvini, he's signaling that he's putting a time limit on his support for the current technocratic government in charge. Since the collapse of Italy's government, it's been turned over to what's it's called a technocratic government ruled by leaders who are not formally associated with any one of their parties. So this is a measure that's employed when the various different parties can't get along well enough to form a coalition. Salvini, as the head of the most popular party in Italy, in many respects remains the kingmaker. Salvini said that he was willing to allow the current Prime Minister Mario Draghi to remain in office until the pandemic is resolved. But his tenure won't last past then. Now, currently, Salvini's Lega is polling in first place with 24.2% support. They're followed by the center-left Democratic Party with 17.4% of the vote. And then, here's the key, they're followed by the nationalist-populist Brothers of Italy, who are polling at 17%. So the Brothers of Italy appear to be within the margin of error to be the second most popular party in Italy. Now, this is huge because the Brothers of Italy, led by Giorgia Meloni, are going to join forces with Salvini's Lega Party, right? Just like they've been doing in regional elections. And that will mean that Western Europe will have their very first nationalist populist governing coalition. You only need 40% to have a governing coalition in the Italian parliament. that they're also going to get bolstered by Forza Italia. They're another 7% or so support their center-right party. So if they can keep that kind of popularity going, Italy's going to emerge from this pandemic with a solid nationalist-populist right-wing government. And finally, over to the Netherlands, the Dutch had their national elections yesterday, and as expected, the center-right Freedom Democracy Party, led by Mark Rutte, has won yet again. This was Rutte's 4th victory in a row as prime minister. Quite impressive. Now, the election was also quite good for the nationalist populist right. Geert Wilders, the leader of the Dutch Freedom Party, he did see his party lose 2 seats, but they still remain the solid 3rd largest party in the nation. And Thierry Baudet's Forum for Democracy ended up gaining 6 new seats for a total of 8, which is a quadrupling of what they had. And one of their splinter groups, a brand new nationalist right party called JA21, it looks like they've gained 4 seats. So overall, the so-called far right, or as we prefer, the nationalist populist right, saw their share of parliament rise to a total of 29 seats, which bested the left by several seats. So all in all, the elections in the Netherlands were certainly not earth-shattering or anything like that, but they were certainly good news for the center-right. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And click on the link below and check out some of our awesome merch. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how a New York Times contributor declares that whiteness is a pandemic, all as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis bans critical race theory from his state. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.